So I turn on Facebook, and I start seeing some pictures of Yoda. That looked like, one of them looked like it might have been hand drawn, and the other one was a if I might say so, crude digital manipulation of a shot from episode 3.
Okay.
And it's like, what the fuck is this? So I start looking into it. It's from StarWars.com, and they're actually concept drawings of Yoda. Now you might be asking, concept drawings from what? Do we have a new Yoda movie coming out?
What could it be?
It's probably rumored a Disney Plus thing at this point, but no, this is actually the Star Wars High Republic series.
Ooh.
You might remember we talked about this a while ago. It was under the Project Luminous heading.
And then they formally revealed it as the High Republic, which is like 200 years before episodes 4, 5, 6.
Yes, yeah, or episode 1, 200 years before episode.
Oh, okay.
1, I think, yeah.
Okay. So 230.
They're gonna have like comic books,
novels,
other things, a video game, maybe, I don't know.
All sorts of neat stuff.
Yeah. So you'll remember that when we were first doing this, we're talking about Star Wars High Republic, we're thinking 200 years before Phantom Menace definitely means that Yoda is alive.
Yes, he would be 670 years old by my reckoning.
Right. At that point, we didn't know for sure if he was going to be anywhere, or if he was just going to be something we knew existed that was just never enters into the story because he's too busy doing Yoda stuff or whatever. Well, it turns out he's not too busy doing Yoda stuff, or if he is, his Yoda stuff is what we'll be reading about. So these concept drawings of Yoda kind of popped up. They look pretty neat.
Yeah, like I preface this by saying that Yoda is always capable of kicking some ass, but concept art Yoda definitely looks capable of kicking ass.
Yeah, definitely. So Daniel Jose Older, who is the author of the High Republic Adventures, said that Yoda will be a journeyman out in the galaxy. He said, we meet Yoda doing what he loves best, looking out for the young folk. In this case, a group of Padawans traveling around the galaxy to learn the ways of the Jedi with a hands-on approach. The Force Study Abroad program, basically, is what he said. And then the guy that did the artwork, Troy Alders, which, by the way, Troy, if you ever hear this, I doubt you will. That's so impossible. I didn't actually mean to make fun of one of your pictures, but it did look like he just took a screenshot from episode 3
and traced over it.
He said, well, Yoda is not that much younger, around 700 years old instead of about 900, but we thought that it being hundreds of years earlier, he would definitely have a different outfit, maybe even more than one. His age, as far as the way that his hair and face look, is maybe just slightly younger, but fairly close to his look in The Phantom Menace, which makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're a creature that lives a millennia, millennia, a millennium?
Yes.
Yeah, millennium. Time doesn't quite work for you like it does, for other things.
The way I would think about it is if you sliced a 0 off the end and imagine Yoda was human, so 90 years old. People at
what is he in
90
years?
I don't know. Yeah. but people at 90 years old look fairly similar to what they did at 67.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. They've probably been cantankerous and grumpy at least for that amount of time. So this whole thing got me kind of wondering, and this is going to pop up in another thing we're doing tonight as well.
Okay.
First of all, we know close to nothing about Yoda.
True.
We know that he's very good at sword fighting. He's good at the Force.
He can jump around a whole bunch.
Yes, he is a squirrel on crack. That was my when I saw episode 2 in theaters.
Yeah.
That was, oh my god, that was so cool. Oh, you know what else I figured out about Yoda today? I'm sorry, we're going off on a tangent here.
That's fine.
We're watching episode 1 earlier. I don't know why, but we were earlier today, and there was a scene where it's right when Qui-Gon Jinn is like doing the wager with Watto with the chance dice and stuff. The cane that Watto uses, he's holding a cane, is the exact same asset as Yoda's Geimer stick from episode 2.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, what in the world? So I looked into it. Turns out probably has no canonical meaning whatsoever.
Yeah.
What probably happened was that the artists were like, shit, we need a cane. Hey, get that cane we made for Yoda.
Yes,
we'll just use that.
That happens all the time in digital graphics. Like there are a few years back, there was this Twitter thread of like computer game graphical artists saying, okay, this is how I reused assets in my game. Let me see how you did yours. And there were just hundreds of replies of these professional graphical artists saying, yeah, I took this part out of that and that part out of this, slammed them together, and boom, it's the Temple of Doom.
Right. So the next time you guys are watching episode 1, take a look at Watto's cane, because it's Yoda's cane. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we know nothing about Yoda.
Yes.
So it seems like that this will be a good opportunity for us to learn more about Yoda as a character, but also more about his species, which is why this is going to plug into something later. And I'm so it seems like his good naturedness, based on the description that they gave, is more or less the same, right? He likes teaching young people.
Yeah.
He apparently has a good nature about him, unless he's like doing a Severus Snape thing. However, I'm curious if he has an evolving philosophy of the Force. Now, we mentioned that the difference between High Republic Yoda and Episode 1 Yoda might not actually be that different, because for him that's just like a few years.
Yeah.
When you extrapolate it out, but it would be kind of cool to see a little bit of an evolution to how he got to like the Dumbledore Yoda, because you know how like in Harry Potter, Dumbledore. I've been reading Harry Potter lately, by the way. Dumbledore, when he was younger, was actually a bastard. He was a huge bastard, and wanted to rule over the Muggle. You know, it'd be kind of like Yoda when he was like 100, like being like, "Yeah, the Sith are all right. I got a buddy who's a Sith."
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they'll go that far with it, obviously.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
Like by this point, I expect Yoda is fairly well rooted in his ways, but is still open to learning new things.
I also wonder how long has he been a Jedi? Like, did he come into the Jedi? Well, he can't have, because this is the start of the Jedi Order, around the start of the Jedi Order. So he must have been at least a couple hundred years old by the time the Jedi started. So was he just like...
What was he doing?
Yeah, that's the first question, right?
He's off doing Yoda things.
Right. I would like to know where he's from. I think we might learn that. Is it like Planet Yoda?
Planet Yaddle.
Yeah. And what his people are like. And
because we've gotten like hints at that from Mandalorian, but
yeah, we're doing a Mandalorian thing here in a bit, and that's why I think that's why they're writing Yoda in the story, by the way.
Makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. And we've had little flashes of Yoda. Well, so in episode 1, Yaddle was another member of the Jedi Council. And she's only in like one scene, I think. And I don't think George Lucas at that point had really kind of fleshed out stuff about Yoda yet. I don't think he really knew. I knew that at one point his species had a name, but it was never canon. I can't remember what it was, but it was like really goofy. It was like this really goofy name. So yeah, it's just something I'm kind of curious about. Next to Palpatine, he's probably the Star Wars character that's shrouded in the most mystery. And I know that Old Legends Yoda, Yoda was different when he was younger about the Force, and he had hinted pretty heavily that he had dabbled in some dark side things. I guess probably not to the point to where he like fell to the dark side or whatever.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of cool to see a little bit of development in his character.
For sure. Yeah.
So